Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. 2 weeks ago I promised you that I would give you another episode of Desert Island Discs. I had to think about the title of this series then, and thusly here I am. And today we are looking at a shelf here, this complete shelf of titles. We done this shelf here, okay, I know they're stacked on top of one another, but we done that one 2 weeks ago. So if you missed out, please go back and maybe check that video out. I'm just sorting this camera out. I know. Anyway, so let's start the video. Okay, yeah, so Desert Island Discs, you know how this works by now, but if you don't, basically I'm going to go through all the titles on this shelf. We're going to take a look at the films that are in my collection here. These are all Blu-rays. Yeah, the 4Ks are behind me, 4K steelbooks are over there, collector's editions run all along the top, comic book stuff is over that side. Yeah, but at the moment we're just going through the standard Blu-rays. I will get around to everything. Now, in 2 weeks' time, I said I would bring you a steelbook shelf. So we will do another steelbook shelf over there before jumping back down to the last two here. So, as the future has it, in 2 weeks' time, you have a steelbook shelf. Steelbook 4Ks and Blu-rays. Then we'll jump back over here to finish up the W, X, Ys and Zs of film. Anything else, and then in 6 weeks time at the bottom I've got a shelf dedicated to horror movies, so there'll be a horror themed one there. And what I do is I look through all my titles and then I pick that one film that I would take above all the others. I would get rid of all the others for just keep that one film. Kind of like if I was on a desert island, what one of these films from this shelf would I be taking with me? That's the concept. So again, as I'm doing this, if you think you know me, try and guess what film you think I am going to pick. Also, let me know your pick, what your pick film would be, maybe some runners-up, the reasons why. I'm always interested in that, so we can discuss that. So let's begin. And like I said, this is U's, V's and into W's. So let's get ourselves into it. Okay, so here we are with the U's, and what U collection isn't complete with a bit of Kate Beckinsale. Kate Beckinsale, the daughter of what's-his-face Beckinsale, who was in Porridge, the TV show with Ronnie Barker. I forget his name. It eludes me at the moment. Anyway, his daughter, Kate Beckinsale, very famous actress, very attractive actress, actually. And what, like I said, what collection would be without the movie Underworld? If you hear that, I've said this before, if you hear that, it's because my old DVDs have just been put in there to float around. That's what I sort of done with when I decanted my DVD collection. I thought, I put them onto spindles and into books, and then I thought, hold on a minute, why don't I just incorporate them and just put the discs into the Blu-ray cases, even if they're floating around, I really don't care. So yeah, Underworld, the first Underworld film. Yeah, you either like these films or not, but let's have a look at the others in the franchise, and then I'll have a little talk about them. Then we have Underworld Evolution, which is the sequel, the first sequel, second film, and I'm probably prone to say this is my favourite of the lot, as I recall them. Then we have the Kate Beckinsale-less one, which was starred with Rhona Mitra. Now, Rhona Mitra was the actress who, well, she was actually the first, or one of the early Tomb Raider models who modelled the character of Tomb Raider. She's been in a lot of other things, Rhona Mitra has. She's not bad, I don't mind her on screen. This is a prequel film. So that's set before. But then Kate Beckinsale came back to the franchise and we were given Underworld Blood Wars, which I got a steelbook for. I think this is the only Underworld film that I ever have had a steelbook for, to be honest. Yeah. You know, will they do a... I'm not surprised. I'm surprised they haven't done a big steelbook set of them. You know, we've had a Resident Evil one, so why not this? And then we had Underworld Awakening. This series, to me, it became interchangeable with Resident Evil. It felt like, especially the latter films here, the last couple of films and the latter films in the Resident Evil franchise, felt like they were made by committee. Almost felt like they were rolled off of a conveyor belt, and it's sort of like, here's your script. Either script is suitable for a Resident Evil film or a Underworld film. You just need to change up a couple of elements in there. Change the characters out and zombies instead of werewolves, this sort of a thing. They felt very much like they were very conveyor belt made. Seriously. And the last ones were somewhat lacking, most definitely. I don't know, but there we go. Anyway. Next up, we have a Nicolas Cage film, and you know, this film stars Nicolas Cage. Yes, also got the late Tom Sizemore in it. Thomas Jane, Punisher, 2004 Punisher, and it's directed by Mario Van Peebles. He was an actor at one point. He was in Jaws 4. He's the black fella who doesn't die after being eaten by the shark at the end of Jaws 4 and Floor. And he was in Highlander 3, the Sorcerer, or whatever it may have been called in the region that you're watching from. It had loads of different names. And this is the movie USS Indianapolis, Men of Courage. The story of the USS Indianapolis, very much made famous by Quint in Jaws and his speech about the ship. Basically, this ship here, it carried the nuclear bombs on board, the ones that were dropped onto Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and it carried them from where they were in the US to where they were going to be then loaded onto the plane. The Enola Gay was the name of the plane that dropped on Hiroshima. But it was super secret. It was such a secretive mission that all radio communiques were dead. There weren't no radio communiques from this ship, in the sense that when the ship left port in America, they didn't... they all knew it was happening, but they didn't message the port where it was going to say, hey, the ship's on its way. When the ship arrived at that port, they didn't message back ever to say, the ship's arrived, the cargo's arrived. It was all super, super hush-hush. So on the way back, after delivering the bombs, the ship was torpedoed and sank in the water with hundreds and hundreds of people left stranded in the water, but no SOS was sent. Nothing was sent, so these people were stranded there. It's only when the ship didn't return as it was meant to that they started to get a bit sort of, what's gone on here? And a lot of these soldiers or these naval men were picked off by sharks in the water. And so the story that Quint tells in Jaws is a true story based upon that. And this is the film that's based upon that incident. That being said, it's not an expensive film. It's not, some of the effects are pretty poor in it. Not a lot of money was put into that movie, but it's still an interesting watch. Next up, we have an enjoyable romp of a movie here. Denzel Washington and Chris Pine in the movie Unstoppable, about the runaway train. Yes. Enjoyable movie. Enjoyable film. I cannot deny that. Next up, we have Under Siege 1 and 2. Steven Seagal's Die Hard rip-offs. Tommy Lee Jones stars in this one, and is probably most remembered for the cake scene with what's-her-face, who's Erika Eleniak, that's her name, who popped out of the cake, and her jubblies were on show. There we go. For me, I'll be honest, I have more fun with the second one. I actually prefer Under Siege 2, Dark Territory. I don't know why, I just do. Although that has some bad special effects in it as well. But then next up, another World War II film. And that is U571. Recently got a 4K steelbook. Lovely steelbook. I have got it in the collection over there. I will talk about all these doubles because going through this series, it's making me question what I'm going to do. So I'll talk about that at the end. But U571. Bill Paxton is in it. The late, great Bill Paxton, Matthew McConaughey. And it's an enjoyable film. A revisionist history film, because it's all about the Americans finding the Enigma machine. That's all completely made up. But as a made-up revisionist history movie, it's a fun film. That I cannot deny. Next up, we have Kristen Stewart in Underwater. Yeah, you know, that sort of underwater horror film. I like films that are set underwater. Yeah. What more can I say? Next we have, there's a German version, no reversible sleeve on it. It's the sequel, sort of sequel to The Fugitive, US Marshals. This one obviously follows the Tommy Lee Jones character out of that movie and into this one. It also stars Wesley Snipes and Robert Downey Jr. Yeah. Should that be next to The Fugitive in the collection? I don't know. And then we have the late, great John Candy in Uncle Buck. I've got a second copy of this somewhere because I forgot that I'd picked it up in CEX. Great film, that is too. And then we have another World War II movie, and this one was directed by Angelina Jolie. And it is the incredible true story, Unbroken. Very good film. Very, 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 very good film indeed. From Angelina Jolie in the directing chair. She's done a good job. Now this film here has come up before because I do have a steelbook. I actually have two steelbooks of it over there. Two different steelbooks. And it is The Untouchables. Robert De Niro. Kevin Costner, Sean Connery, Andy Garcia, Charles Martin Smith, and this is a fantastic film with a fantastic soundtrack by Ennio Morricone, or whatever it is, how you pronounce his name. I'm butchering his name. I always butcher his name. Ennio Morricone. Yes. He also done the soundtrack to the movie. Well, he's done a lot of soundtracks, but this is a great soundtrack that he done here. Great score, and also the much derived Brian De Palma film Mission to Mars. I think that's got a gorgeous musical score to it. I really do. But anyway, but yeah, this is a fantastic film. Now, like I said, remember, put down, think about what your pick would be. One film above all else, what you would take. Now, here we go. Okay, I enjoyed this back in the day, but there we go. Milla Jovovich in Ultraviolet. My God, I bet this film now looks awful. I really do. An eye-boggling triumph of a movie. Is it really? I like Milla Jovovich. I do like her. I think she's very attractive. Really easy on the eye, and she does decent enough action movies. It's a shame that Expendables 4, there was always that talk of doing an Expendables, an action Expendables movie, and with females, and if that ever came to pass, you've got people like Kate Beckinsale, Milla Jovovich, you've got actresses that you can get in there. Christ, who else would I like to see? Who would you like to see as a get her in it, get old Gina Carano in it, she would be good. you know, even some of the older actresses from that era, you know, the 80s, 90s. Well, a lot of these are going back into the 90s now. I feel old, but there we go. Anyway, so where was we at? We was at Milla Jovovich in Ultraviolet. Now we jump into the V's. And we have Victor Frankenstein. It's a film that I picked up very cheap. CEX. No, Poundland, sorry. And I'd never seen it. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was okay. I had no issue with it. Daniel Radcliffe and James McAvoy. Two good actors. I mean, I don't like Harry Potter. But Daniel Radcliffe has proven himself to me to be a decent enough actor in other projects. And then we have here £1.50, the movie Valentine's Day, which I'll be honest, I only purchased because I wanted the pink case for something, and that something I cannot recall what it is. I don't know what the something is I wanted that pink case for. It wasn't Barbie, before anyone says that. Unfortunately, Barbie, the Blu-ray is a thin case. This is a thicker case. That's a shame. Anyway, next up, we have, here we have, what's this? Okay, odd, but there we go. No, sorry, I was looking at something else. We have the Ultimate Vacation Collection. Yes, Chevy Chase. Obviously, Christmas Vacation is a yearly watch. It's a mainstay at Christmas. It is part and parcel of Christmas. This year just gone, my wife actually bought me the glass. The glass that they drink from. The Wally World glass, like the mousse, that they drink their eggnog out of. So the first film is great. It really is. National Lampoon's Vacation. I have it on 4K behind me somewhere. The second one, European Vacation, Christmas Vacation, I would say is the best of the franchise. Vegas Vacation, I believe, was a TV series, a TV film, sorry. Obviously, there is a Christmas Vacation too, not Chevy Chase, it just follows his cousin Eddie. But yeah, I have Christmas Vacation on 4K as well. Then we have Vacation with Ed Helms, which is a remake dressed up as a sequel, as Hollywood did at the time. You had a lot of these films that were remakes. Creed is a remake of Rocky. Star Wars The Force Awakens is a remake of Star Wars A New Hope. Vacation is a remake of National Lampoon's Vacation. But they realised that remakes weren't working, so they were soft reboots and remakes that were dressed up as sequels, because they realised we could tell exactly the same story, put different characters in it, include a couple of original OG characters. So in the case of Creed, you got Rocky Balboa. In the case of Star Wars, you got Han Solo in there, you got Chewie in there, and in the case of this, Chevy Chase does pop up as his, you know, as Clark Griswold, as his father. He's the son Griswold. Yeah. Luckily, that sort of remake has stopped being. They stopped doing that. I'm not a fan of that. But there we go. Next up, and I don't know why I got this, and it's still sealed. Let me open it. Let me open it and take a look, because I want to know if it's got a reversible sleeve. And I do have this film as well in a double pack, and I do have the sequel as well. And it's a John Carpenter film, beginning with V. And this is the German release. It always bugged me that I had it on a double disc and I wanted it singular. So I bought it cheap from Germany. And it does have a reversible. So I'm going to reverse the sleeve before I show you. But if you know John Carpenter films, what John Carpenter film begins with V? There's only one. And that is John Carpenter's Vampire, or Vampires. We know it as Vampires. This is a German release. James Woods. I think it's an underrated John Carpenter film. I really like it. I really like James Woods in it. He's fantastic. And like I said, I have the sequel. The other version of that, where it's doubled up with Ghost of Mars, is probably in the horror section. So give it 6 weeks. Then we have Under the Skin with Scarlett Johansson. Yep, okay. Tom Cruise in the movie Valkyrie. I've only watched it once. Then we have Valerian. Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, with a nice lenticular on it. 3D version in there as well. Blu-ray 3D, Blu-ray and digital download. I thought the film started fantastically. The opening scene, the opening couple of minutes, I thought, yeah, I'm on board with this. It then let me down after that. Then we have a Still Sealed. I picked this up for £2, as you can see, or £1 when Poundland were getting rid of them, and they had them reduced to £1. Veteran, starring Toby Cabell, Brian Cox, and someone Thomas. Who's the someone Thomas? Ashley Bashy Thomas. Anyway, Still Sealed, not watched it. Then we have Valentine, the Dark Avenger. I don't know. Still sealed. Is it still sealed? No, it's not sealed. Yes, it's sealed in there. It's sealed in there. Yeah, I know. Okay. Oh. Anyway, moving on. One for the wife now, picked up for £1. And this is Victoria and Abdul with Dame Judi Dench. I've not seen it. The wife likes all this sort of stuff. You know, The Crown and all that about, I don't know. I'm not one for the royal family. I'm not a royalist. Then we have the Korean or Japanese movie, I'm not sure what, from Arrow. This is The Villainess. Moving on. Then we have Rachel McAdams and Channing Tatum in The Vow. I don't mind Channing Tatum. I can watch him in stuff, not in stuff when he's dancing around and stripping. They weren't my cup of tea, but there we go. Not for that reason. That sounds really questionable, doesn't it? But there we go. But just not my cup of tea. Magic Mike, that's what it's called, Magic Mike. Not my cup of tea. I've not seen the first two Magic Mike films. When the third one came about, it was this year just gone. Me and the wife started watching it because she would have watched it. But even she said, switch this rubbish off. So thusly it went switched off. Then we have Nicolas Cage. Vengeance. He had to pay his tax bill. He did. He had to work hard. A film I used to have now on... I remember the VHS of this. I do remember the VHS. Kathleen Turner. And I bet not many other people have got this film in their collection. V.I. Warshawski. If you have got that, let me know. I'll be interested, but I'm pretty sure many haven't. Kathleen Turner is terrific, apparently. The War of the Roses. Is that a film that's available on Blu-ray or not? Next up, Tommy Lee Jones in Volcano. I had fun with the film. I had fun. It's ludicrous, it's stupid, but I had fun with it. I think I had to import from old Germany for that one. Came out the same year as Dante's Peak. You know, the one starring Linda Hamilton and Pierce Brosnan. And then we have Vantage Point with Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid's good, isn't he? I like Dennis Quaid. Matthew Fox is in this. He was in Lost. He was the main star of Lost, the TV series. Forrest Whitaker, Sigourney Weaver, and William Hurt. So you've got you know, a decent cast in there. I don't remember the film very well. I have seen it, but I don't remember it. Then we have Virus. Jamie Lee Curtis, William Baldwin, Donald. I think this is quite underrated horror. It's got some great effects in it. You know, practical effects of these robot things, and half, you know, things like this where the humans have been sort of used by the robots. I still have my old DVD version in there. And again, this I had to import from Germany. And this is a film. Did you know that it's actually based upon a comic book? Yes, Virus is based upon a comic book. Steven Spielberg now. And this doesn't get spoke about a lot. Warhorse. The stage show was fantastic. The animatronic horse was wow. But yeah, Warhorse, a good film. Tom Holland. Yeah, Tom Holland. No, not Tom Holland. Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston pops up in this. And so does Benedict Cumberbatch. David Thewlis. Emily Watson. Yeah, it's a good film. I haven't watched it in a while. Wyatt Earp. We've done Tombstone. Tombstone come into play a week or two ago. Wyatt Earp came out the same year. Kevin Costner, epic. Dennis Quaid again. Gene Hackman, great cast, great film. I enjoy this and Tombstone for different reasons. This one is more biographical almost, in a sense, in a feel. It's Kevin Costner. Yeah, old Costner does like his epics, doesn't he? So where were we at? Next up we have Without Remorse. I think this was this a Netflix film or something like that? It was an online film. It's based upon a Tom Clancy book series. I believe in the book the character is white, but here he's played by Michael B. Jordan. That means nothing to me that they changed the race of the character, because I've not read the books. So why should I care? I know that I enjoyed this film. I thought it was pretty good, and I wouldn't have minded seeing a sequel. And if there's another book adapted, yeah, it was all right. I didn't mind it at all. Taylor Sheridan's in it. Yeah, it was good. I picked it up cheap though, as you can see. It was about £5 when I picked it up. Next up, we have here. I picked this up cheap as well. I don't know why. I haven't watched this. What to Expect When You're Expecting. Cameron Diaz, Jennifer Lopez, Elizabeth Banks, Chris Rock, Dennis Quaid, Matthew Morrison, Anna Kendrick. So, you know, there was a few actors in there that drew me to wanting to watch this, or drew me to thinking, oh, I might watch that. It was a CEX pickup, cheap. Couple of quid, that's all. But I haven't got round to it. It just went on the shelf and forgotten about. Then we have Jason Statham in Wrath of Man. Guy Ritchie film, which I thought was okay. I like Statham films, but there was an element to the plot of this that unravelled the whole film for me. I won't go into details, but there's an element in the plot that just doesn't work and makes no sense whatsoever. And with that not making sense, it unravels the whole narrative of the film. Although, if I can get past that, I don't mind the film, if that makes sense. Then we have The Wolfman. And this is harking back to an era of when I probably first started picking up Blu-rays, most definitely. It's quite an old film now. Emily Blunt is in it. Hugo Weaving, Anthony Hopkins, Benicio del Toro. I don't remember it very well. It's been a while since it was visited. Why have I got a loose disc in here? Wolf of Wall Street. I do have the 4K special edition version. For some reason I have two Blu-rays. I don't know why. I have two Blu-rays kicking around in there of the same film. Why is that? That makes no sense. I can't remember picking up a second one. I don't know the answer to that question. So don't ask me. But yeah, The Wolf of Wall Street, fantastic movie, fantastic film, really is. And I've got the Arrow edition of this as well, Wild Things, so we'll come back around when I go through my special editions. Kevin Bacon, Matt Dillon, Neve Campbell, a very twisty-turny movie in the sense of the goings-on in it, the narrative, people manipulating other people. And when I last watched it, which was the 4K version, you know, it's a decent film, I enjoy it, but I wanted to sit down and go through the film and write it all out, write out the double crossings, who's affecting who, and see if it actually works, because I think that under its own weight it would crumple, that it is too reliant on, well, the script to make this stuff happen, if that makes sense. I think it's trying to be far cleverer than what it actually is, or could actually be. I think it would just fall apart. But also I picked up, I got this for a couple of quid, I saw it somewhere, and it's the 4th film in the Wild Things franchise. Yes, there's 4 films. The others were straight to video DVD, obviously just another sort of erotic, people backstabbing other people while having sex kind of a movie. You know, other than the title, there's no connection to the first Wild Thing film. So let's get to the end of this, because I've got a small amount left here and I've put them in front of me. So first up is Wanted. Angelina Jolie, Morgan Freeman and James McAvoy. Yeah, again, based upon a comic series. And then we have Waterworld, and this will come around again because again I have 4K. I have the collector's edition somewhere. I don't know, did I get a 4K? Have I got 4K for this? I think I have, but anyway, Waterworld. I really enjoy Waterworld. I think it's a fantastic movie, honestly. This is another good one. This is starring Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch, Wind River. Yeah, Jeremy Renner, Elizabeth Olsen, from Taylor Sheridan, the writer of Sicario and Hell or High Water, and written and directed by Taylor Sheridan, yeah. It was a decent film. That was a decent film. Some decent films in here. Channing Tatum, White House Down. Now again, another film that came out. It came out in the same year as Olympus Has Fallen. Only Olympus Has Fallen is the one that people regard as the best. Probably because it went on to, well, it made more money and it went on to spawn a franchise of films of questionable quality, at least. But for me, I think this is the better of the two movies. What elevates this film for me is that its setup is much akin to Die Hard in its writing, in that it takes time to set up the hero, it takes time to set the villains up. So essentially, we're living in an era now where films want to throw you into the action at the get-go. Straight away, bam, bam, it has to be action. We can't have a slow narrative that introduces characters, that introduces plot elements and all this. And Olympus Has Fallen doesn't have that, but this film does. And I think the film suffered because of it. People don't realise that it's actually a far better written film. It takes its time with its characters, with its plot, with its setup. And that's what I want from a film. I want a film that takes time. That you know, the wham bam action get-go from the minute it starts does tire me at times. And so it was nice to see a film being made in an era where that sort of film isn't made, that sort of writing isn't done, if that makes sense. And White House Down, for me, stands as a better film than Olympus Has Fallen. And I know that I'll be in the minority there. Then we have Kate Beckinsale. I'm going to come back to that one. There's a reason why. You'll see. World War Z. World War Z with Brad Pitt. I'd like to have seen the original ending. That's all I can say about that one. Another one I picked up for £1. Warcraft: The Beginning. I haven't watched it. That's why it's still sealed. So I can't really say anything about that. Jet Li and Jason Statham in War. 50p. I did see it back in the day. I can't remember it. I haven't watched it since I've picked it up like this. So there we go. And then last but not least, Kate Beckinsale in Whiteout. I moved that to the end because I thought, well, we started Proceedings with Underworld. We'll finish Proceedings with Whiteout. Just a nice sort of bookend this with Kate Beckinsale. Yeah, it was all right. I like films set on the ice, in the snow. So that's that. So there we go. There are all the films upon that shelf. So, again, my question to you is, let me know what film you picked. What is the film that you picked out of all them? One film above all the others that you would take with you to a desert island if you only had that one choice. If you had to make a choice here, get rid of every film, bar one, a film, not franchise, one single film, what would it be? What would you take? Let me know. And let me now pick mine. All right, so I've picked 4 films. And I've got to decide which one I would take with me. So, let's do it. First up is The Untouchables. The film speaks for itself. It's a fantastic film. Brian De Palma directed. Obviously, I mentioned Brian De Palma directed Mission to Mars. I failed to mention he directed this. He did. So, Untouchables. Classic movie. Wolf of Wall Street. Another very good movie. Element of humour in there as well. Margot Robbie with a kit off, always a bonus. Leonardo DiCaprio always tends to deliver in film. Martin Scorsese, wonderful director. Then we have Waterworld, Kevin Costner's classic movie. And we have Vacation box set for Christmas Vacation. Christmas Vacation. So they're the 4 films that I would. Oh, what would I choose? That's so difficult. That is so difficult, really. I've got to go with I Don't Care. And I feel so bad because these other films are technically far better. I don't know. This is a difficult one. It really is. See, I'm inclined to say Christmas Vacation. Certainly the most watched of all them films. I watch it on a yearly basis and I think it is hilarious. I love it. I think it's funny. On the other hand, Waterworld, you know, I'm trapped on an island. Waterworld, there's water all around me. This could inspire me to make a little boat or something. I don't know. Wolf of Wall Street is classic. Untouchables is a film that I let go in a list before. Okay, I'm going to let Vacation go because I've seen it so many times. Wolf of Wall Street is a newer film. It comes down to Waterworld or Untouchables. Oh, and I don't know. I'm inclined to say that Untouchables is the better film. But that's all subjective anyway, but it is. But Waterworld is just a film that I really enjoy. Got a great soundtrack, good action. I'm going with Waterworld. Waterworld is my choice. I would take Waterworld with me. I feel guilty. Never have I been so torn. So Waterworld is my pick. That's my pick. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. More importantly, let me know what film you would pick out of this. What you think of my pick, etc. And in 2 weeks' time, I will be back and we shall delve into steelbooks again. There's a nice hefty shelf over there with quite a few on. And we'll get into that. And yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you on the next one. Take care all and goodbye.